feels familiar. You by my side, running all night, familiar.
On a Zoom with me from the December streets is Tristan. Welcome to my house in Brackpan.
Hello, Danny. Welcome to my studio in Cape Town.
I'd rather be there. I would rather 100% be there.
Yeah, it's a vibe in here. You should come visit one day.
I was just scheduling social media and I was looking through old pictures, and a couple of weeks ago we went away to the beach, and I was looking at it, and I was looking out my window, and I was looking at the pictures, I was looking out my window, and I was like, how much money do I think I could make on OnlyFans? Like, could I possibly like move and sell everything? Like, that's where I am at the
I
moment. So Cape Town might be a plan.
No, fair enough. I've had the thought many times myself. Just to upgrade lifestyle.
Would you do it though? Because I'm teetering. Would you do it?
Yeah, no, I would. I definitely would actually. Like if I needed to, I don't see anything wrong with it. I mean, it depends how deep you go on how much you uncover, but I think it's life today. I'd definitely do it. Keep an
Listen,
eye out.
I want that link. I'd love that link, please. Okay, but wait, you're a guy. Guy hands are apparently a thing now, and you can make so much money if you have nice. See, look at that. Put 2 or 3 rings on, couple nails, black nail polish. You don't even
Yeah,
have to
go
show
all in.
anything else.
Exactly. Maybe it works.
Okay, so he's not on OnlyFans. I mean, maybe one day, but we'll just, maybe not. Who knows? He is part of an incredible band, though, the December Streets. They've been around for a really long time. How long have you guys been around for
Mhm.
now?
Well, I mean, if we count it back to when I first picked up a guitar and decided on a name, it would be like more than 10 years, like when I was in high school. But I mean, we weren't taking it as seriously then, like we had this concept of, okay, we're all like kind of nerdy and like very small in a very all boys rugby school. So how can we get girls to pay attention to us? Because they were clearly not. So we thought, let's start a band, like there might be something in there. But then we actually learned to play instruments
Hmm.
after a few years, and we actually realized we had a talent for it and we really enjoyed it. So yeah, I mean, like you could say somewhere between 5 and 10 years.
Yo,
Who knows when it officially began?
that's a long time. Did the girls
Yeah.
thing work? Did they throw bras and stuff? And
It took time, but eventually it did. But we had to get support from the likes of Jacaranda to actually get our name out there and grow a bit of a presence. And then it started to work in its own ways.
but that's the thing, right? Jacaranda FM is here to be your wingman, December Streets. That's what we're here for.
100%. 100%.
Okay, so through the years, obviously, I mean, the industry's changed massively from the first time you even before, like, not even just the guitar, but like recorded. I mean, look at the studio you're sitting in now.
Mm.
What is the biggest lesson that you've learned going from garage days to today
Hmm. Ooh, that's a big question.
as a band, not as a
As a
you?
band, I think collaboration. So collaboration in songwriting and production. So like a lot of artists will get very like touchy about the music that they write and having ownership to it, which we of course are as well. Like we're very passionate about what we say and how we sound. But the biggest thing that I learned was not to be too precious onto where that can go, because you might have a brilliant song written and it sounds great, but collaborating with the right producers was literally a game changer for us as a band. It went from sounding like a garage band in South Africa to sounding like an American produced band, like just like kick the caliber up 300 notches. So just because there are producers out there that have been doing it for 20, 30 years and their skill is honed in on taking your product and just like polishing it a bit and making it sound like here.
Mm.
So collaboration and also songwriting. Like we've written with so many songwriters as well. And like whether the song ends up getting used for December Streets or for another artist, it's just like it unlocks like this mad amount of potential that you don't even realize by having someone else in the room that's creative as a soundboard and can just like it just ramps up the whole process. So collaboration is the short answer.
Good answer. Just going back to something you said about changing the sound but still being inherently December Streets. Surely that's a fine line, right? Because as the world has
Mm.
changed, you don't want to be one of those bands that always every album sounds the same. It's kind of like, like ACDC is ACDC, but they have those
Mm,
boundaries to a point, right? What,
sure.
how do you not go too far to lose us, but also then go far enough that you guys don't get bored? Because I can imagine you would get
Yeah,
bored.
no, for sure. I mean, so what's the quickest way to answer something like this? Because it's quite a detailed answer because I mean, when we started, we were, 19 years old. And like I said, just learning to play our instruments still. Like, we weren't born prodigies that could just shred guitars out
Hmm.
of the mother's womb. So it actually took time to really get to know our instruments and get to know each other as members as well and songwriters. So our sound from varsity days, which was like a ska, almost a little bit punky kind of vibe, to which started to evolve over time. And that sound that we got known for and the fans that we built over there, when we started to release stuff that was more along the indie and pop sound, which we as individuals started to love as a sound and started to learn to produce with, there was a big disconnect. People would be like, I remember just seeing the comments on YouTube and people being like, what is this? Where's the old December streets? Da
Mm.
da da. And you do take a knocking. Like, it sucks because you want to keep everyone happy, but in the end, I think the authenticity in the music you write has to come through. And that's what we just put our heads down and said, yeah, sure, it sucks to be getting about a bunch of flack from older fans, but we'll make some new fans along the way as well with a new sound. And for me personally, like you touched on, I would never want to get boxed into creating one song and that's the song and the sound that you're stuck with, because I'd lose my mind out of boredom.
Mm.
Like, if I have to play Fire Through the Window on stage again, I'm going to probably knock my teeth out. It's still fun, but you want to evolve and grow with the times. And apart from just the sound, also experimenting, man. Like, when we started to bring synthesizers into our music, that just like opened up this world of electronic sounds where you're like, oh my gosh, my guitar can't do that. But if I plug my guitar through this pedal into that synthesizer, whoa, look at that.
Mm.
So with December Streets, like, we've always had like a knack for anthemic kind of hook writing and melodies, and then just exploring the different sounds and weaving them into it, I think, is like what stays true to December Streets. Is like, you want to roll your window down and like scream the song, or be on a dance floor in a crowd and like, jump and feel good. But then we try to evolve our sounds and grow that with what's current and what we enjoy as writers and producers as well. So I think you have to evolve, otherwise you get stuck in the past.
So it's not just going into a studio writing a catchy song and then just like giving it to us, right? It's like it seems a
No,
little bit more nuanced than that. I'm
to
joking.
be honest, like, that is the biggest that's the biggest recipe for disaster, is trying to write to emulate another sound, or
Mm.
because X works on radio, let us create something that sounds like that.
Yeah.
We tried that years ago, and like, it flopped. Like, it wasn't sincere, it wasn't genuine. Like, none of us like really, we were like, this will do well on radio, but do we connect with it? So
Yeah.
we've kind of come back full circle to this. What do we love about music, and what are those sounds, and how do we capture that lyrically? And we're just going to write to be true to ourselves, and luckily it seems to be things that other people like as well. The sound is people take a resonance to. So we're fortunate in that aspect, at least.
No, for sure. We love love you. And you definitely resonate with us, even though we're getting older and you've been around for so long. I keep saying this today. People need to stop like telling me how old bands are because I'm not ready to learn how old I am. It's
Oh no, it's
insane.
terrifying. I don't know if you've been in that situation where you hear a song that's been out for a while and you love it, and then someone's like, that song's 15 years old.
Dude, dude,
What?
watching Fight Club the other day, I felt like it was like it was a new movie. That movie is like 15 years old as well. And I remember where I was when I watched it, but also things like Roxy's Rhythm Bar, where we used to sneak out of
Mm,
hostel to go like that.
yeah.
These things seem like yesterday, but they're 100 years ago.
But I think that's what's so potent about music writing and songs, is like, there's always a way that, at least for me personally, and I've chatted to a few people about it, but when a song resonates to a moment in time, so call it like your birthday party or a farewell or whatever it is, it stamps and imprints so hard in your mind that when you hear it, it seems like yesterday, and you kind of lose track of the time in between, because it has such a visual and visceral like linkage. And
Yeah.
I get that a lot with our music as well. When sometimes I'll go onto the back end of Spotify, YouTube, and like just be browsing through the streams and stuff, and I'll see like one of the songs will be like 6 years, 7 years old, and I'm like, no ways, no ways. I feel like I'm 21 still.
Dude, and you were there, you made that, like you birthed that song, and you're still shocked. Imagine how the rest of us feel when we are like in our Converse and ripped jeans and we're just jamming. Now we're old and we have bonds and life. Like it's not fair. But listen, going back because we've gone completely on a tangent now. Going back to you were speaking about writing. What is the process for you guys? Is there someone who is stronger lyrically? Is there someone who's
Mm.
better at arranging? Like, how does that process look for you?
Sure. So it usually begins with way back when I was trying to figure out the idea of production before we started working and collaborating with these big producers. We were working with guys that didn't really know what they were doing, and it used to frustrate me so much because I had this sound in my head, but it
Hmm.
wouldn't translate. So I went into learning all the production software myself, and from there, I could like actually write music that could translate from my brain onto the audio waves, if that makes sense.
Wow. Okay.
Um, so with that ability, like I started to take the role in writing the beat and the rhythm and structure first. So I'll just like spend evenings playing around with sounds and like guitar riffs and vocal melody hooks, and I'll get like a bit of a sample together, so call it like the first 10 seconds of something, and then we'll go sit with the band in like a jam room and we'll start playing the idea and then let it unfold from there. Neil will start adding on guitar hooks and Matt will start singing vocal melodies, and then we'll craft the song together like that. And we just do that over and over and over until we feel like a song is like, whoa, we got something here. And then we go into studio with the producers, and then it just unlocks and goes like, the floodgates open, the coolness oozes out. So
Do you have
it's very
moments
collaborative.
where you get to the producer and the floodgates don't happen?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I
Okay.
mean, the worst is for our last album, Last Forever, this one that we just released now. We had a whole writing. I was still living up in Joburg, and we had a whole writing week planned. So we came down on this tour to Cape Town, a writing tour where we'd be working with 4 different producers, and we'd go into studio, and we knew we had limited time. So we'd say we got 3 days for one song, but now the pressure's on. So we'd like unpack the beat, but then like let's say a verse isn't written, then you go like, oh flip, and like nothing would come to me. I would be sitting there banging my head against the
Yeah,
wall,
because of the
like I've
pressure.
got an idea, but I couldn't get it. And like it is honestly one of the most defeating things to have writer's block on that level. So I mean, we went back to the hotel afterwards, and then we were just like having a drink on the balcony, and then I wasn't even listening to the conversation, and something popped into my head, and I was like, oh whoa, pen and paper, and that unfolded Danger Danger on the album. So it just happened that way. But sometimes, like you asked, you just sit there and you're just like lying on the floor in the studio, and you're like, why am I even doing this with my life? I'm no good. You're like, what am I doing? Why? So you do get writer's block. It's not always just like magic. You really have to keep honing and crafting, trying ideas, seeing what works and what doesn't, and know when to let go of something when it doesn't. It's also very
Mm,
important. Mm.
that's a good lesson. If we take nothing else from this interview, that's the one. Okay,
It's a
so
very good life lesson.
you touched on Last Forever, new album. We are currently
Mm-hmm.
playing Useless. Tell me about this
Oh, mate.
album. So now I know that you had writer's block, and Danger Danger is came out of a moment of frustration. How is the rest of the
Yeah.
album for you? Did you write it all in Cape Town? You were in Cape Town when you did it.
So, like we actually wrote 5 of the songs in 3.5 days in Cape Town when we were down here, which was wild. Like because we had about 6 of the tracks already written, like and ready to go to production phase, but we knew we needed more to fill the space up. And they were just like conceptual ideas, like literally voice notes on my phone of like strumming an
Wow.
acoustic guitar, playing a piano, and singing something. And we went into studio and we just like really we grafted so hard to get it together. And it was the most fun I've ever had in my entire life. I mean, I really wish that we want to actually do this, like bring some fans into studio with us as well, just to see what the process is like. It's like it's pure flow. Like when they talk about the idea of flow, like it takes a while to get into, but when you get there and you're sitting and you're jamming and you're writing, it's just like it makes everything that we do in music worth it when those moments happen. There's like magical sparks of like, wow. And you'll literally will be jamming together and we just start smiling. Like everyone just starts grinning from ear to ear because you feel like, oh, it's coming together. It's like the most magical feeling, and you can like put no monetary or explanation onto how that feeling is until you do it. So half the album was written that way, and the other half has been crafted over the past 2 years during lockdown because we had so much time to sit and write.
So you guys obviously you worked like you say through lockdown, and by the time we get the album, you have listened to it 100 million times in a
Oh
hundred
yeah.
million different kinds of ways, and now you have to tour it and perform it and pretend like it's fresh for you as well. Do you
Hmm.
ever struggle with that?
Not not really. I mean, so it's always a fine line of sounding narcissistic and not. Where like I mean, we write music that we love, because no one else is writing it, and it is the best feeling to get back a final master or mixed track, and I'll like literally my ears will be bleeding the song
Mm,
over and over. And I love every moment of it because you know the effort that went into each little section of the track.
yeah.
And to hear it to come together as this final version is just like I get goosebumps every single time. And then let alone hearing it on something like Jacaranda FM, then you're like, what? This is crazy. But we the cool thing about what we do with December Streets is we've all got our own businesses and full-time jobs during the week, and we make our money off that. So the band is essentially a career, but we don't necessarily need to make money off it.
Mm,
And what that affords us is really the ability to keep the passion in it. So it's like five brothers that have a deep love for music and writing music that get to come together on various stages around the country and the world and perform and see people enjoy it. And that for me is like it's the winning recipe. It's why December Streets is still December Streets 10 years later, is because we've built this structure that works for us and doesn't put too much pressure, financial pressure on us as individuals, and force us to create, force us to tour. So on the repetition thing, I'll say no. Like every single show we play is unique, and every crowd we play to hears the song differently and resonates differently with it.
valid.
So, and you can see it in people's eyes and the way that they sing, and it's like it's the ultimate. Then you're just like, yeah,
It's so
I
cool
love it.
talking to you because I think even though I'm kind of in the industry and I speak to a lot of people, I also sometimes my perspective is wrong as well. Because like I look at rock stars and I'm like, you guys are all party animals, you're rock stars, you're living and sleeping until 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and then you go to the studio, you write. But like then you have this side of it where you're actually really together and normal.
Yeah,
And like I don't know why I don't think you are, but like I would never, you know? Anyway.
yeah, no, 100%. I mean, there is obviously, I mean, over the years, there's this huge stigma of like what a rock star should behave like and act like.
Yeah,
And
shame.
it's something, yeah, and it's something that we've kind of gone against the grain. Like we're all quite nerdy dudes, and we all have our, like I said, our own careers, but we love to make music. And while we act like rock stars on stage and we'll like have a party on stage, we're not the full drug, sex, and rock and roll scene. Might have been in our 20s, but now we're like we mature, we know how to do this. Our music's evolving, our sound's evolving. I mean, we've cracked the balance for now.
Yeah.
Let's hope we can continue it when it goes on a global scale. I'll answer you that in a year's time.
Speaking of that, I did see, I don't know how much I'm allowed to ask, but I did see via the grapevine that you guys are about to embark on a European tour.
Yes. So it's quite exciting. Like I can't give too many details away, but there's a Japan and European tour planned for next year, which is going to be hella exciting for us. I mean, like Japan is, we've never been to Japan as a band before. I've never been individually, but it's one of the territories where our music's like doing really well there, and the Netherlands and parts of Europe. So yeah, soon to be announced, we are going to be embarking on a bit of a tour around the world, or at least Japan and Europe.
Yo.
Um, that's a dream come true. I mean, like, yeah, I mean, like that's literally what you dream of as a kid when you think about starting a band. It's just like if I could play this overseas, it would be amazing.
Yeah.
But not to disregard like our South African audience. I mean, that's you guys are literally the reason why we are anything and why we could even put the word success closely related to the band is because of South Africa and our audience over here and our fans. So I mean, I'll let you know how it is and how people engage, but I know like the way that people support us here and like enjoy our shows in South Africa, I'd be happy just touring South Africa for the rest of my life, to be honest.
Speaking of touring South Africa, are you going to be touring Last Forever? Where, when, where, how?
Yeah. Yes. So that's also to be announced. But October we're doing a full nationwide tour. We're going to all the big cities in the country, and we're going to be taking a whole bunch of cool acts with us as well. Other acts that are going to be sharing the lineup with us, and we'll be playing the new album, collaborations, all the old stuff. It's gonna be crazy. And we've got something really cool planned for this tour. It's not just going to be your normal go watch a concert thing. We're going to go full experiential. But you're going to have to keep on our social
No.
medias to hear what it means.
Oh, no. I hate that. I hate that. Okay. Where do we go? Where are the socials and the websites and the things?
Open your phone, type in the word December Streets anywhere, and it'll pop up. It's quite easy. There's no like weird username or handles. It's just December Streets everywhere.
Okay. Thank you for this chat, and thank you for gifting us new music. And thank you for telling me absolutely nothing about the 2 tours that I'm most excited to hear about.
I'll
But
send you a message afterwards.
if you are watching this or listening to this, please go and stream Useless. We're currently playing it on Jacaranda FM. Make the TikToks with it, do all the things, go download the album. It's everywhere so that we can sing together at them when they're on stage in Joburg, Pretoria,
Oh
Cape
yeah,
Town, Bloem, PE,
yeah,
everywhere, Japan.
100%. And we've
Tristan, thank
actually,
you.
I forgot to mention
Yeah.
just one last thing. I don't know why this slipped my mind, but we are releasing in 2 weeks' time a TikTok first. We're going to be doing a user-generated music video on TikTok, where we've got a team of creatives that have built an interactive VR filter. I don't know, I can't explain much more than that, but when it goes live, you'll be able to see. It's literally a filter that you'll be able to interact with and sing the song with, and like be a mask that engulfs your face, and you're gonna like do these moves with it. And we're gonna create a full music video out of all these interactions from TikTok, and it's never been done around the world. So I'm highly excited for that to go live. Check when it does come out, and please interact. It's gonna be amazing.
Oh my gosh. I am in. I am 100% in. I'm an older millennial who all I do is TikTok. It's terrible. It's disgusting. I know. I know the children hate
Taking
me,
over the world.
but I'm ready. I'm going to interact with this hard.
Amazing.
So while you're on the TikTok making the song, go and follow them so that you can also get interactive with that.
Yeah.
That's very cool.
Check it out.
Very, very cool.
Yeah.
Tristan, thank you so much for your time. I will definitely come and watch you when you guys are up in Joburg.
Awesome. You must be there. And thank you, Danny, for the ongoing support with you and Jacaranda. We really appreciate it. And it goes miles. And to everyone else, all the listeners as well. We really appreciate and respect all of you. So thank you for the support.
Feel the rush.
Jacaranda FM.